Hey crew, it's Ben, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today we are going to be diving back into Diabolic. We're going to check out Truth Part 2. This seems to be more political. That's what the tagline says on the anyway. So we're going to check it out and see what he's got to say. This is from 2013, so I'm assuming that was current when it was uploaded. And so in 2013 we were looking at just getting the second term of Obama in. So things were really shitting the bed pretty good. And about to really shit the bed. We were still tied up in all the wars overseas. So let's see what he's got to say about the political life in 2013. Anyone does it. Alright, here we go.
Yes. Today begins a new order. Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me. In return for your obedience, you will enjoy my generous protection. In other words, you will be allowed to live.
Yeah, freedom's been overthrown by skull and bone scrolling key.
Truth.
Lunatics, upside down crucifix on their rosary. It's the home of the brave land of the supposed free and trilateral commission expeditions overseas.
Yes, indeed.
Opposing me's a socially accepted secret known to me. The Jason group mistakes the truth as its golden fleece. Am I supposed to believe Masons who have a mixture of Satan and Catholic scripture, trading some gas to Hitler? Should I believe when your forefathers Jack the Ripper and you worship statues in the forest and practice Wicca? I've seen it unfold. Summer season reading a...
If y'all haven't seen the video where AJ infiltrated the scene out west, I'm trying to not get hit by the algorithm on this one because I'm going to try and get this video up on YouTube. We're going to see. But there was an owl involved and a ceremonial sacrifice. If you haven't seen the video where AJ infiltrated that, you should check that out. At his prime AJ. And it is well worth looking at.
Scroll translating Mason speaking in code at Bohemian Grove. Prince
That
Bernard of
place.
the Netherlands left some evidence, and the Bilderberg shows our presidents ever since. Veteran Illuminati.
And like, that's the thing. Like, I still hold out hope for voting because voting helps on the local level, and the local thing keeps you solid, right? We were solid here during this last 2 years of insanity, which I really want to take a victory lap on. I'm not, like, I'm going to do it right here, right now. This is probably the only thing I'm going to say about it, but like, I was right, y'all. The whole way through, everything is falling apart right now. Everything that they said this whole time is falling the fuck apart right now. And it is glorious. Now, I hate that in order to cover that up, they started a conflict and there is tensions over there. I hate that, but I do love the fact that it is falling apart. California had to completely back out of the mess. Fuck. New York's rolling back their stuff. Like, it is falling apart everywhere, and it is glorious. I have been right the whole time. Thank you.
They invaded the Scottish Rite, denounced God and Christ, worship man and forgot the lights. So I gotta fight, cause I don't care how it sounds. The CIA planted C4 to bring the towers down.
There's an interesting video out on that too, that shows some directed energy weapon technology and how it could be used and probably was used for that. The C4 doesn't fit. It doesn't. But those directed energy weapons, which are a thing, I may have to do a dive on that. That may be one of my next science videos that I do. And because I have talked about how it did the fires out west, and you would see trees next to cars that had been disintegrated and nothing left but their aluminum rims, right? That's the same technology that they used in that instance. So that's not to say that there was not a plane involved, because I think that there was multiple levels of that. I think that the plane was used. There was that. but that the weapons were used to ensure maximum damage. And played together, it works in the manner that it actually did. Jet fuel, y'all know the argument. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna get kicked off YouTube, y'all. I'm trying so hard.
Planes hit, a weapons born, tracking us with echelon when video exists of a missile hitting the Pentagon. What a masterpiece, the past repeats, it's never gone. In daddy's footsteps, Junior reenacts Desert Storm like let's get it on. Act righteous, cause a fast crisis, double gas prices, and blame the fact we tax hiked it. But observant optics can see through a vermin's logic to just turn a profit and fatten Halliburton's pockets. Making Satan's fire lakes out a higher place, so this time I break. There's only so much I can take. Here's the truth, we the people have been seeing your attempts and realize we the ones you declared war against. Here's the truth, I refuse to have you controlling me with my faith in a bunch of snakes. I just don't believe. Here's the truth, we the people have been seeing.
And see, I get that point of view, but I just don't know that I can agree with that point of view anymore. Like, the don't involve me really isn't working for us. It hasn't worked for us. Like, there was a time when the people who voted in this country were educated about the issues that mattered in this country. That is not the case now by a large margin. The amount of sheer ignorance in history, science, politics, like the sheer laziness, ignorance of the American education system, and the result of that has led to where we're at, and that is that whole, well, I don't care, don't involve me attitude. That is some shit I can't. That's the energy I don't frequency with, right? Like, that is the opposite frequency of me that don't do shit. Like, I'm doing what I can, talking to y'all every day. That's what I can do. I can work towards building a school to help actual people with actual things. That is what I can do. And so that is what I am doing. I can affect my local elections, make sure we got solid people. So that is what I am doing. But this, we are going to ignore it, just leave me alone, as what has caused this problem. You do you has caused this problem. And that's one of my favorite sayings. Like, I love saying you do you, because it don't involve me, I don't care. But it's getting to the point where it cares, like it matters.
In your attempts and realize we the ones you declared war against. Here's the truth, I refuse to have you controlling me with my faith in a bunch of snakes. I just don't believe. The Holy Roman crown is sacred, and it seems the house of David let black nobility and Jesus somehow related. Black don't refer to.
Hold on.
With my faith in a bunch of snakes, I just don't believe. The Holy Roman crown is sacred, and it seems the house of David let black nobility and Jesus somehow related. Black don't refer to the color of these cowards' faces. Their powder-pasted skin makes them the proudest races. Illuminated lineage of lonely chromosomes, known for seeking the return of the Holy Roman throne. Committee of 300, calling shots close to home. Tapping in your mobile phones, matching up your vocal tones. It's your darkest beliefs started with Harvard's elite and Yale's fraternal orders, marketing the market of beasts. Deceiving as a demon, playing the part of a priest. Hadsburgs causing famine while we starve in the streets. Old school psychology.
There's not much about the Catholic Church from its inception into the modern day that has anything to do with the teachings, leadings, or ministries of Christ. Now, I'm saying that as somebody who is vehemently anti-Catholic. That is not to say that there are not good Catholic people. There are devout Catholic people that are going to go to heaven. They're going to meet God. They're going to become one. However you want to look at it. Absolutely going to happen. But the people who are in charge, the people at the top level of that, are absolutely diabolical. There is nothing about that, what they do on a organizational level, is in the Bible. Nothing. All of it is exactly the opposite of what you were told to do in the Bible. All of it. And that is not just the New Testament. That is all the way through, from the beginning to the end. There is nothing in the Catholic Church that is right. Nothing. Now, different faiths find God through different manners. And I believe that God meets you where you are. I'm not one of there is only one way to God, people. The only way to God is to seek God himself. It's seek God's face. You can use an intermediary. Plenty of people do. And it depends upon your level of faith whether you use an intermediary or not. Your intermediary could be the prophet, or it could be the Son of God. But either way, you're still using an intermediary between you and God. I don't believe in an intermediary. I believe that we have direct communion with God, that we can seek his grace and forgiveness from himself. And so I got off on my religious rant, but that's because he's talking about the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church is not a good thing. Nothing about it is good. Their symbology is bad. Everything about the symbology they use, the language they use, the ceremonies they use, all of that is bad. All of the intercessory prayers through saints are bad. All of that is bad. And that's not to say it's necessarily evil for you to do that. So if you pray to the saints through devout faith, that's a whole different thing than them telling you that that is what you have to do in order to achieve this goal. Oh, you need a fortune in a travel, so you need to pray to St. Christopher to intercede for you. You can say that doesn't happen, but that I know it does because my mama's family's all Catholic. I know how that goes.
Base and fate or numerology, the newest.
But they are not the end-all be-all who is going to be. Like, they're not the ones in charge of anything. They are one of the theys, but they are not the they. And I did a whole video on who they are. And they are one of the groups, like the Catholic Church and all of the organizations associated with it absolutely are. That's the Rosicrucians, that's the Templars, like all of those. Anything that went through the Catholic Church, all of them are associated with the they.
Colony and Lucifer's future prophecy, an aristocracy with souls in the devil's hands, an architecture plan, city streets designed as pentagrams, hidden cams on every inch of this blessed land, a very chip GPS attached to.
They're in the 5G towers. He just told y'all something. Like, I had this conversation with my dad the other day. He was talking about here in Baton Rouge, they're installing microphones, right? They're trying to curb some of this gun violence because Baton Rouge is turning into New Orleans. And they're trying to put the microphones up to triangulate the positions. And I'm like, that's just a farce. They need to blow that money on something. But they have that technology up because every one of these 5G towers has a microphone and an omnidirectional camera in it. Like omnidirectional microphone and camera. They have a 360 view and a 360 audio at all times. That is part of what they're doing in the control movement. Like that's coming. They don't want you to know that, but they're putting these things up around national forests. They're putting these things up way out in the boondocks. And they've got a microphone and a camera in every one of them. So when it pops off and everybody's thinking, well, I'm just going to bail out to the woods, right? I'm thinking the same thing. I'm bailing off to the woods. Be careful where you wind up, because if you're in sight of a tower, you're in sight.
Pentagrams, hidden cams on every inch of this blessed land, a very chip GPS attached to your genetic strands. But I'll be
not mine. They didn't get mine.
damned if I allow some coward to drown me in the powers he proudly learned from Alistair Crowley. Cause out of my county on the...
And that's real too. There's people who dismiss that. That is not something to be dismissed. There are dark forces out there. Just like there are good forces, there are dark forces. There are energies and harmonics that people play with and do not understand. Don't play with things you don't understand.
Turnpike, word life, there's Nazi propaganda promoting Bush's Third Reich. Turn right at the left wing and find these cult leaders, then expose FEMA before you take the fall like cold Seavers. No Geneva Convention, peace treaty, you'll be safe when the elite make a one world government police state. I know y'all relate and even I hope I'm wrong, but I know I'm not, cause I know what the fuck is going on. Here's the truth, we the people have been seeing your attempts and realize we the ones you declared war against.
And that is true. Like, I absolutely agree with that. Like, there are people. The division that we have is who are they, right? That's why I did that video first. Because you have so many different groups with different objectives that are working towards one general goal. And they don't even realize it most of the time. But like, the Bilderbergs are doing the same thing that the Catholic Church is doing. They're just doing it for different motivations and with different players. But they're still working towards the same goal, because their goal is the same one.
Here's the truth, I refuse to have you controlling me with my faith in a bunch of snakes. I just don't believe. Here's the truth, we the people have been seeing your attempts and realize we the ones you declared war against. Here's the truth, I refuse to have you controlling me with my faith in a bunch of snakes. I just don't believe.
We're gonna let it play on out because you know how we do. Y'all make sure you get back over to Diabolic Hip Hop and give him a like, share, and a sub. Throw him a comment. Let him know you appreciate what he's doing. I appreciate what he's doing. This is good stuff. I may disagree with some of the end results or some of the players or some of the things, but I do agree with the overallness that there is a plan, y'all. That plan has been laid out and written down, and there's a good argument to be made that we could avoid things, right? But to make that avoidance possible would take an awakening level that is not achievable. Like, I'm an optimistic person. I find the silver lining on all kinds of shit. I don't see how we can avoid the end times, because even if I affected every single person that watched one of my videos, right? And they in turn infected the same number of people who watched them videos, which is an exponent that we can't even fathom. Like, it's just so big. I don't know that we could still, with even if it was 100% conversion rate, still reach enough people to change the zeitgeist enough to where we don't have to go through the things that we as a civilization have already decided must happen. The Christians have decided it must happen. They wrote it down. It is in this book. John the Revelator told them about it, right? Well, the Muslims have decided the same thing. It's the same thing that's written in this last chapter of this book. It's just from the other side. So already you have two of the largest religions on the planet that are absolutely convinced that this is going to happen. You would have to convince them that their religion is wrong in order to change that. It's just not going to happen. That zeitgeist is not going to change. And that's not even taking into account the multiple other cultures that have the same symbology, the same talking points in different contexts scattered throughout everywhere. And that is old indigenous legends about turnings and burnings and cleansings, and all of these things is all talking about the same thing. It may not be what the Christians are looking for with God coming down physically to judge. It might be what I've been saying, that we're gonna have a literal turning of the planet. We're gonna literally be shocked with plasma. It's gonna be bad. But it's all described in this book, and it's described in all of the other stuff. I'm getting off on a rant. Let me stop. This was good. I like conversation. This is a good conversation starter. Turned a 4-minute video into 18 minutes, so it was a good conversation starter. I appreciate it. I try not to get back to the same artist too many times in a row, because it gets wearying for y'all, but it gets wearying for me. If I hear the same over and over and over, I don't appreciate it as well as I should. So I take a break between them until I feel like maybe it's time to check out another. Diabolic, thank you for this. I appreciate it. This is good music. I always appreciate good conversation. I can't wait to catch up and see what's going on nowadays from Diabolic, because, you know, people's opinions and things change, and they evolve over time. And I'm interested to see where he got from here. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Till next time, this has been Pitts Tape. Peace.